So I'm going to let you off the hook. You no longer have to gargle that mouthful of consonants, LGBTQ. I'm going to give you permission right now. You can say queer. It's okay. It's a nice umbrella word. It covers everyone. It's an actual word. We can all say it. All right. So, as you've been told, my name is Erin Palette. I am the founder of Operation Blazing Sword, and I believe that gun rights and queer rights are both human rights. And in fact, I believe that gun rights are queer rights, and the logic behind that is quite simple. I have the right to live. There are people who wish to end my life because I'm queer. Guns allow me to defend my queer life. Therefore, guns preserve queer lives. Guns cannot preserve queer lives if queer people cannot carry them. Gun rights means that all law-abiding citizens can carry guns for self-defense. By carrying a gun, I can defend my queer life. Therefore, gun rights are pro-queer. The right to self-defense, gun rights, are human rights. Loving whomever I want, my sexuality, is a human right. Living as I wish, my gender identity, is a human right. Therefore, gun rights are queer rights, and both are human rights. You see, gun ownership, despite what the media tells you, is not a conservative thing, or a straight thing, or a male thing. The Second Amendment is for everyone, and I have been saying this since the day after the Pulse Massacre, when I saw something amazing happening across social media. Gun owners across the country were posting not only messages of support for the survivors of Pulse and their families, but they were also offering to take to the range for free anyone, gay, trans, or other, who wanted to learn how to shoot in self-defense. And these gun owners, who we've all been told hate queer people and wish them dead, it's what we've been taught, right? They were offering to provide free gun safety training because they believe that human life is precious and that everyone, including their political opponents, deserves the ability to defend themselves effectively. Amen. Instead of laughing about how there were 49 fewer votes for gun control, these gun owners were reaching across the political divide and saying, you have value. Your life matters to me. I want you to be able to defend it. And if you want to learn, I want to teach you. And I thought that was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I also knew that their intended audience would never see these messages because social media divides us into echo chambers. It just so happens, though, that I'm one of the few people who has feet in both camps. So I decided to compile a master list of all the people offering to help so that it could be seen by and hopefully shared by the queer community. That list became Operation Blazing Sword, which in just 2 years has become an international organization dedicated to teaching firearm safety and operation to those who don't feel comfortable learning to use firearms via the traditional means of going to a gun store or a shooting range. We have over 1,500 volunteer instructors, many of them gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender, and we have them not just in every state in this fair country, but also in Canada, Australia, and Europe. And we've trained someone in firearm safety every other week in the 2 short years we've been in operation. We don't charge for these lessons because we aren't selling anything. What we are doing is educating. Education is the heart of Operation Blazing Sword's mission. Americans don't believe in abstinence-only sex education, and rightly so. Why then do we insist upon abstinence-only firearm education? Let's teach people about firearms so that they can make informed decisions when it comes time to vote. Now, I am frequently asked, Erin, I'm just so different from them. What do I say to someone who is homosexual, or is transgender, or is androgynous? And my answer is always this: hi, want to learn how to shoot? It really is that simple. Just be friendly and make a sincere offer to teach people. And we are people, just like you, and we have more in common than indifference. And that's something else which Operation Blazing Sword facilitates. Learning about people who we've been told are different from ourselves and finding out that we aren't so different after all. I have seen strong, enduring friendships made between conservative, straight cisgender people and liberal, gay, transgender people, and this gives me hope, because such things counter the terrible othering that's happening in our country right now, where one side is calling for the death of the other, and that other side is ready for a fight. This is because we no longer see people on the opposite ends of the cultural or political spectrum as people anymore, but rather as obstacles to be overcome, or opponents to be defeated, or heaven help us, enemies to be destroyed. And trust me, there are similarities in life experience between being a gun owner and being queer. For example, in the early days of Operation Blazing Sword, someone told me, you know, I'm happy to help train people, but I'm not sure if I'm comfortable having my name on an internet map listing me as a gun owner. And my reply, well, it was a little more gentle than this, but the essence of it was, so you're afraid of the repercussions of coming out because people might treat you differently? And it was delightful to track the dawning of enlightenment as he realized the similarity between being openly queer in a conservative state and openly being a gun owner in a liberal state. And that's what I love about Operation Blazing Sword. The education goes both ways. Not only are the queer students learning about firearms, but their teachers are learning about what it's like to be queer in America. Ultimately, I want you all to understand that the gun community and the queer community have more in common than either realize. And instead of rejecting each other over our differences, we need to focus upon our similarities. Both groups believe in rights. The right to love whoever we want, and the right to defend our lives effectively. We may disagree on which rights are more important, and we may disagree on how best to implement those rights and their associated responsibilities, but we both ultimately agree that rights are paramount. Both groups believe that life is precious and worth protecting. Ultimately, we both want to prevent the murder of innocent people, and that is inherently noble. And both groups believe that silence equals death. If we are silent, if we cannot be heard, then we might as well not exist in the mind of the public. And that is how we become marginalized and stepped upon. Let us unite in our belief that life is precious and worth defending, that our rights are sacred, and that we refuse to give them up no matter what the politicians say. Let us defy those who seek to divide us by welcoming those who are different and showing them that their lives matter and have value to us. And let us embody the principle that the Second Amendment is for everyone, liberal, conservative, queer, and straight, by making firearm ownership as diverse as the rest of our great country. Thank you.
Heroes come in all shapes and sizes. Let me tell you. Erin, awesome.